What's up, y'all? This is your host, Indigo Soul, the channeler, coming back once again with another episode on Pretty Mess Podcast. Welcome and thank you all so much for tuning in with me. I really appreciate it. Before we get started, y'all go ahead and do me a fave and show your love by liking the video, sharing the video, and subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be bringing some more exclusive content real soon. Y'all just wait and see. Things will be brought to light, so y'all stay tapped in. Anyway, here's a quick intro. I was born a natural psychic medium coming straight out of Minneapolis, Minnesota, the home of the Minneapolis Sound, the Minnesota Twins, and the Timberwolves. I possess many God-given abilities such as clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, and claircognizance. Just a disclaimer for those religious folks out there, my gifts are not demonic at all. I do not associate with any dark entities whatsoever. The spiritual gifts are simply encoded within my DNA from my ancestral lineage. So, if this spiritual related content is not for you, please exit stage left. Thank you. All the negativity will be returned back to sender. Kadeesh? So anyways, let's get into it. The 80's, what an era, right? The fashion trends were all about the neon colors, the oversized clothes, the teased hair, denim wash jeans. Even Michael Jackson dominated this era with hits like Billie Jean and Bad. Rest in power. Then there was another star on the rise, Jermaine Stewart, who had just happened to be a former backup dancer on the hit television show Soul Train and background vocalist for the group Shalimar. Born in Cincinnati, Ohio, according to Spirit, and was raised in the heart of Chicago, Illinois, and eventually moved overseas in Europe to pursue a lifelong dream of entertainment. His first album, The Word Is Out, in 1984, which reached number 90 on the Billboard 200 charts and reached number 30 on the Billboard Top R&B/Hip Hop albums. The breakout single, We Don't Have to Take Our Clothes Off, reached number 32 on the U.S. Billboard 200 on the charts from his sophomore album, Frantic Romantic, which launched in 1986 and happened to be a great success. So, after dealing with many trials and tribulations in his career, in 1997, he succumbed to his death at the age of 39 by AIDS-related lung disease. So here I will share his message from June 9th and the 10th of 2024 based on my mediumship notes, and I even have another message from a special guest. Let's get into it, y'all.
Listener's discretion is advised.
June 9th, 2024. Hello, my name is William Jermaine Stewart, born September 7th in 1957. Was born to my beautiful parents, Miss Ethel and Mr. Eugene. Technically born in Cincinnati, but online it states Columbus, Ohio. I moved to Chicago in my earlier years of life before 18. Chicago was great. I loved it there. There was some discrimination against gays in the LGBT community. You just had to keep it on a hush-hush. Some people knew, but they just ain't say nothing. But anyway, fast forward to my adulthood. I met with some people and created great music with some of the members of Shalimar. Jody was my best friend in the whole wide world. I miss her and I love her. She was destined to be my friend. We've been through a lot, but had a lot of fun. I miss our little Kiki sessions. So anyway, I was on the Soul Train show being a dancer for the group. That's kind of how I got my shine. I was also a backup vocalist as well for Shalimar. June 10th, 2024. So when the group got discovered, I was kind of left out, but was still the background vocalist for the first album, which was good. I ended up traveling Europe and stayed there for a while, trying to get my name out there. I loved it. The people were nicer there and more accepting of my gay lifestyle, especially places like France or England, London, even though there was some racism. I never really experienced it much, but I just knew I had a better experience over there in Europe. I wish I went to Africa though. The nightlife in Europe in the 80s was amazing. We had a good old time. That's where I was discovered in one of those nightclubs where I was performing and was getting ready to sign with Arista Records and work on my debut album, The Word Is Out. I met with the execs and ended up signing a contract on the label. I wish I had a lawyer present. I really didn't know what I was signing until later on. I got screwed out of a deal eventually. But I was happy with some of my success though. Although I didn't make number one on the charts, I felt like I was getting close with my first single, We Don't Have to Take Our Clothes Off, which I co-wrote. I thought it was a fun song but had a strong message. I just wanted to put it out there. We don't have to get freaky, but just have us a good old time. Making the video was fun but kind of awkward with having a lead girl. They just threw some random girl in there, which I was fine with, but they wanted to push the straight image. But I was gay as hell and proud of it. But Hollywood wanted to keep that hidden regardless. At the time, lots of people had hidden lifestyles, being in the closet. They did that to George Michael too, with his handsome self. He was a part of the group Wham! And ended up going solo, which went on successfully. Anyway, the second album, Frantic Romantic, had mediocre success, but did better than the first album, which I was happy about. I felt like the label didn't really believe in my ideas. They kept trying to push that agenda, which I didn't really agree to, and made me feel uncomfortable at times. A lot of people knew anyway that I was gay. Since I had a little more success in Europe, they tried to promote me more over there, which was fine, but I wanted to be known all over the world. That contract was shitty, to be honest. I felt played. I was just hurt and betrayed. So after they let me go with low album sales and promotion, I decided to do the independent thing, which was hard, but I loved it because I enjoyed making music. I was just getting my shine in Europe. I loved it so much over there. The men were cuter too. But anyway, my best friend Jody, who I also wrote a song about as a tribute to her, she probably took things out of context in the song, but it was to show my love and appreciation to her as my friend. She was beautiful and attractive. She was well liked. She ended up having a great solo career. I loved that song, Looking for a New Love. It was fun, it was catchy, and she looked great in the video. We didn't necessarily have a fallout per se. We just lived different lives after our careers took off in different directions. So one day, sometime in the late 80s or early 90s, I went to the doctor and they told me I had developed cancer-like symptoms in my lungs that transformed into full-blown AIDS. I was devastated. I became depressed and sick all the time. I didn't have many partners, but always questioned how I got it. During the 80s, AIDS was on the rise and I was scared to death about it. I mean, you hear it all the time, but during that period, it became huge, like the pandemic. They had me take all this medication. I tried to keep a smile on my face, but it was still miserable. I ended up passing away in 1997. Jody was really hurt about it. We had lost touch at one point, and she regrets our falling out, more like disconnection. Looking back, I wouldn't have changed a thing except that damn contract. They played me. I did, in fact, had to make a deal with Satan, unfortunately. The record labels really pushed that agenda with Satan. It wasn't like I was representing the Antichrist per se. It's just what the label wanted. The imagery on my albums, covering up one eye with my hair or a dark silhouette in the photo. They were secretly happy I was gay, but not in public though. Isn't that kind of messed up? In the contract was a hidden sigil or incantation. Once I signed it, I pretty much activated the contract. So basically, there was no guaranteed success. That goes for anyone in Hollywood. There's no guarantee, but it's the lengths you're willing to go based on your integrity and morals. How much will you sacrifice for your success? I pretty much sacrificed my own health, not knowing what was happening to me. The AIDS started to develop after I signed that contract. They set it up that way, which was fucked up. All that medication, the hospital visits, the humiliation knowing I had AIDS. If someone found out you had AIDS, it was like you had the plague. Some people didn't want to be near you and things like that, treating you differently. But that didn't stop me from living my life. I had a good support group. So yeah, basically, died from AIDS developing in my lungs, which was crazy. I went through a horrible phase. That was the contract that costed me my life, not realizing it. I have a message for the young people who are a part of the LGBTQIA community. Be who you are. Don't be ashamed. Live your life to the fullest and be happy and safe. There are lots of support groups now, so join them if they have good intentions. To the ones who want to make it in the industry, don't be a fool. Get a lawyer and educate yourself in what you should know. Find a good mentor with good intentions. Most people in Hollywood would screw you over anyway, but just be happy to make music and love what you do. Be careful with what you sign. Everything that glitters ain't gold, baby. To Jody, I miss you and I love you and hope for all the best in your life. Wish we had more time together, but definitely cherished our moments together. And to the fans, thank you for the love and support. To that one fan that bought my headstone, I really appreciate you. My gratefulness never goes unnoticed. That was the sweetest gesture someone has ever done for me. And last but not least, I have one final message from the late, great Denise Matthews, formerly known as Miss Vanity. She was a lead singer of the group Vanity 6 and later became a solo artist and a great entertainer, starring in a lot of movies, such as one of my favorite movies, The Last Dragon and 52 Pickup, and some other things also. So here is her message to everybody. To all the people out there who want to make it in the industry, don't fall for Satan's trap. Take it from me. Dealing with Satan and the lifestyle I lived literally cost my life, but I gave my life to the Lord Jesus Christ. I'm so happy in heaven and wouldn't trade it for the world. Indigo Soul is the truth and assists me in the afterlife. I'm free from that stronghold of Satan. The life in Hollywood is not worth it at all. Seek Jesus Christ and pray for salvation. Hallelujah. And yes, I am married to the purple one himself, Prince. We are soulmates. All right, you guys. Well, that concludes everything. So much gratitude to Jermaine Stewart and Miss Denise Matthews. I really appreciate y'all for connecting with me. Jermaine Stewart, he definitely has a sweet spirit and he seemed to be like a very fun person to be around. And also to Miss Denise Matthews, well actually Miss Denise Matthews Nelson. We've connected back in 2020, something like that. So It's been a long, long time, and she's very, very sweet and a beautiful spirit. She's gone through a lot in the industry, and having a good old time in heaven right now with her husband Prince and her family and everything. So shout out to them. But also a message to everyone else, uh, whoever wants to get into the entertainment business, whether if it's sports or music, just be careful with what you sign, because there are in fact um, embedded codes or some kind of sigils, something going on. I've been hearing about this from different spirits, that it's a lot going on. It's a lot of trickery, demonic activity going on. Y'all stay prayed up out here. I know that a lot of people are enticed by the glitz and glamour and what comes with that kind of lifestyle in Hollywood, but at the end of the day, it's really not worth it. It's all about seeking salvation and returning to Christ. But if you want to stay in the dark, by all means, have fun with it, but it's gonna cost you. But anyways, that concludes everything once again. So I am Indigo Soul, the channeler for Pretty Mess Podcast. And y'all stay tuned for this next episode. It's going to be really, really crazy. Anyways, I'm out. Bye.